The ballistic knife is a special weapon recently added to Black Ops Cold War that acts as a melee crossbow hybrid. You should be excited to unlock this if you haven't already. The ballistic knife is one of my all-time favorite Call of Duty weapons. It's a fun weapon and it is a game changer in zombies. And for those of you that have been keeping up with my melee weapon videos, I've discovered a pretty important change when I was testing for this video that may change the melee meta. So let's get started. What's going on, guys? My name's Sinister Skater. Welcome to the channel. Remember to hit that like button if you enjoy the video or learn something new, and consider subscribing. Take a look at the graph on the screen right now. I'm trying to improve my analytics, and if this is the second or third time you're hearing me say this and you don't see that subscribe button click below this video, go click that button right now. What are you waiting for? Now there are more options than ever before to unlock the ballistic knife. If you want to unlock it in multiplayer, you need to get a one-shot, one kill, and a melee kill in the same life in 15 different matches. You also have the option to unlock it in zombies now by killing 300 enemies while using a special or melee weapon of epic or legendary rarity. If you ask me, the zombies challenge is way easier than the multiplayer challenge. You can complete that within an hour easily, possibly even 30 minutes, where it would take up to 2 or 3 hours to do that multiplayer challenge. If you want to unlock it immediately, you also can unlock the Black Ink Knife blueprint by purchasing the Disappearing Ink bundle in the store, 4,000 Call of Duty points. Although as of recording this video, this bundle is not currently available because there is a bug with it. But if I had to take a guess, I'm going to say it's going to be back when they add the ballistic knife into Warzone in that mid-season update. Let's start with the projectile stats by comparing it to the R1 Shadowhunter, and then we'll go into the melee and movement stats with the combat knife. The ballistic knife and the crossbow do the same exact damage. Both can one-hit kill at any range, but the ballistic knife is really only viable in close to medium ranges. And the biggest reason for that is bullet velocity. The ballistic knife's bullet velocity is exactly half of the crossbows. In this little wall test I did here, the crossbow bolt hit the wall in 467 milliseconds, where the ballistic knife took exactly double the time at 933 milliseconds. This will also factor into bullet drop. The crossbow doesn't have much bullet drop to it at all, where the ballistic knife bullet drop is huge. You're not going to be using the ballistic knife to snipe people. If you want to use it at longer range, you're going to have to aim up to arc that projectile over distance. But surprisingly, the ballistic knife is more accurate than the crossbow. The ballistic knife has a brief delay between pulling the trigger and actually firing the projectile, which you're seeing on the screen right now. It has a fast reload of exactly 1 second, but there is a 400 millisecond delay after firing a projectile before you can actually start that reload. All of these numbers figure into a fire rate of 38 rounds per minute with the ballistic knife. If we compare this to the crossbow fires slower at 24 rounds per minute, and this is mostly due to its slow reload, which is just shy of 2.5 seconds. Overall, the ballistic knife is faster, but does have those weird slower quirks with them, so there's a bit of give and take between playstyles of these two weapons. One last thing these things share before we jump into the combat knife: both the ballistic knife and the crossbow unfortunately are countered by the trophy system. I still don't understand why this is a thing in this game when the trophy system has an insane range and can take out a projectile from across the map. These things really need to get nerfed, so you might want to use the engineer perk so you're aware of where trophy systems are on the map. Oh, and both these perform amazingly in zombies. The ballistic knife also has some special properties in zombies that we'll come back to after we talk about the melee stats. So when it comes to melee weapons, they all are differentiated by their melee speed, their time to kill, and their range, and sometimes their movement speed. Now, the ballistic knife and the combat knife both have the same movement speed like a majority of our melee weapons. They have the same melee speed at 72 melees per minute, and they have the same time to kill, or as I like to call click to kill, for the melee weapons, which is the time it takes between pulling the trigger and going through the melee animation to kill your enemy. Both the ballistic and combat knife take 217 milliseconds to kill. This also includes the projectile. If you're point blank with someone and fire a knife, it also takes 217 milliseconds as well. Compared to the other melee weapons in our arsenal right now, the E-Tool is the only other weapon that kills faster. The Wakizashi sometimes too, depending on what swing you get. Now that combat knife kill speed, if you haven't seen any of my videos before, this may not seem odd to you, but you heard that right, the combat knife takes 217 milliseconds to kill now. Before it took 333 milliseconds, and I've done multiple tests to confirm this. It seems they changed the combat knife's animation at some point. I'm gonna guess it was when the E-tool got buffed, which means I may need to revisit each melee weapon when that baseball gets added here in a few weeks to see if anything changed with those two. I believe all the ranges are the same, but the click speeds may be different. So leave a comment down below if that's something you'd like to see so I can gauge everyone's interest. Moving on to probably the most important stat for melee weapons, range and lunge. Nothing has changed here for the combat knife, which means we can still use it as a base comparison as we have every other melee weapon. The ballistic knife's reach range is the same as the combat knife, which means if you swipe at someone within this range, it will register a kill. However, its lunge range is a step shorter. Anywhere within that blue range will trigger a lunge animation and you'll get a guaranteed kill unless some weird BS multiplayer stuff goes on with you. What this means is the ballistic knife may feel inconsistent to you because it's not a guaranteed lunge kill like the combat knife, but if you're skilled enough to take advantage of that extended reach range, you'll actually be at an advantage because you don't have to wait for that lunge animation to get your kill, which is just how the Wakizashi works. The ballistic knife should feel very similar to the Wakizashi when it comes to meleeing. So if you like the Wakizashi, you'll probably love the ballistic knife melee and vice versa. All these stats carry over into zombies, so if you are used to using the combat knife in zombies, you'll be able to use the ballistic knife, no problem. There are two advantages to using the ballistic knife though. One is that you can revive a teammate when you have a pack-a-punched ballistic knife. All you have to do is shoot one of those projectiles at a downed teammate and it will revive them instantaneously, and you can do this any number of times in a match. The second perk to using the ballistic knife over the combat knife is that it doubles as a DPS monster because of that projectile that you can fire. And I'm not talking just a little extra DPS. The ballistic knife will kill Orda faster than the crossbow, which is insane. I'm not sure if it's doing more damage or if it's because of its faster fire rate, but it's definitely the new fastest way to kill Orda. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to get to round 30 to share some footage with you guys. I do have footage of Orda being destroyed with the crossbow in a video separately. I'll link on the screen right now. You can go check out after this one. There is one caveat with the ballistic knife though, and that is that you have to wait for Orda to get pretty close to you because you have that low bullet velocity and can't shoot those projectiles as far as the crossbow. And you'll have to hit a majority of your shots because the ballistic knife has less ammo in its reserve pool compared to the crossbow. I was worried the ballistic knife was going to be disappointed when I first used it and felt that shot delay, and I was worried it wasn't going to be what it has been in past Call of Duty Black Ops games, but it turns out the ballistic knife is a viable melee weapon that you can also shoot at the same time. It's great in multiplayer, it's great in zombies, and it is another weapon that I'd recommend that you use over the combat knife. We've learned in this video it's pretty much the combat knife when it comes to melee speed, plus you have that added bonus of being able to shoot it. Those are my thoughts though. Let me know what you guys think of the ballistic knife down below in the comments. Is it worth unlocking? Where do you think it ranks among all the melee weapons in the game right now? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing if you'd like to help support the channel directly. There's some links down below in the description that you can check out. Peace.